Joining us now, candidate, I can say that officially now, candidate, U.S. Senate Republican, trying to get the nomination in 2018 to run against Tim Kaine. This will be decided in a Republican primary sometime in June of 2018. And joining me now, Chairman, Prince William County, Corey Stewart. Good to have you with us, Corey.
Hey, John. Always great to be on your show.
Okay, so I did a piece about your announcement the other day. I'm sure you had a chance to read it. I thought it was a brilliant stroke of political genius in announcing in July so you can get the dialogue going, get ahead of everybody else, take advantage of the momentum that you have, as well as start fundraising now because, as you know, in a federal race, maximum individual 2,700. So it's not like Virginia's Wild West. You got to get a lot of small donors. Plus, you can keep the heat on Kaine and others. So I think it was a brilliant move. What, though, inspired it?
Well, actually, it was election night that inspired it. We came so close. And, that evening, and I told Maria before, I said, look, I'm up or I'm out with regard to the governor's race. And then that evening she was there with me and we both looked at each other and speaking to my supporters and realized that, we've got a massive base out there. It's pretty much all of Western Virginia. We've worked so hard, not just during my campaign, but of course during the Trump campaign as well, to build that base, and it would really be kind of foolish not to use it.
Well, look, your message resonated. There was no question about it on that night. It surprised just about everybody. I think the majority of us thought Gillespie was going to win. We didn't think it'd come that close. So, look, there's no question. But let me just ask you this. Is Maria, your wife, is she up to another campaign? Really? Come on, man. How did you pull that one off?
Well, it is a lot of hard work, and it's a whole family effort. There's no question about it. We traveled around a lot together during the campaign, and the truth is, initially she didn't really like politics that much, but she did enjoy this campaign. We both had a lot of fun on the campaign trail. It is grueling, all the traveling, but it also gave us a lot of time together, and that was nice. And she really enjoys meeting people, and we've made a lot of good friends around Virginia on the campaign trail that we are true friends, not just quote political friends, but we're up for it. We're ready to go, and in fact, we're going right now.
Well, look, I had seen your wife on the stump up and about several times, and she always seemed to be having fun and in a good mood, so I will attest from my audience to that. So that's always a good thing. And look, I just want to get into a couple things here and clear the air. Corey, as you know, during your campaign for governor, I was probably not very kind to you, as you know, and not an advocate. And that was all over what happened at the end of the Trump campaign. But as I said in my piece, that's gone now. I'm not interested in that. That's yesterday's news. And so we're going to move forward now. And I've got you as an even money favorite to be the nominee. I think for somebody else to come in, I don't know how they pry away your Southwest base, especially with the staff you have there. I've got you as the favorite. I know you're going to be campaigning your tail off. And I think right now, if, everything being said, you're the front runner to be the nominee without a doubt.
Well, I think so too. And, we did so well, not just in Southwest, but extraordinarily well in Southwest. And then, of course, we, all the way down the valley, the 81 corridor, won 60% in Prince William County. We almost won Loudoun, which nobody ever thought we'd even get close in Loudoun County. And overperformed even in Fairfax. And then we won, Hanover and some of the major suburbs around Richmond. And we're going to be spending a lot more time in Tidewater, though, this time because, we didn't do so well. And I think that can be rectified, though, by spending more time on your radio show and by spending more time just getting out to Tidewater, spending a lot more time meeting folks.
Well, look, I appreciate that, and we certainly did you no favors in that gubernatorial campaign, as you know. But I'm going to turn the page, all right? Let's put that aside, move on, and let's get to some of the issues. You came right after Senator Tim Kaine in your press conference on Thursday and said that you don't need another weak-kneed Republican trying to knock him off. Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, I think Republicans, we fight with one arm tied behind our back. I think we're playing by the nice rules. Look, I don't play by the nice rules, and neither do the Democrats. The way you knock off a Democrat is to take it to them and you fight like heck to destroy them. And that's what I'm going to do with Tim Kaine. Here's a guy who's called the president's son a traitor. This guy has no respect. He's a despicable human being. He's proud of his son for being violent at Republican rallies. And we've got to take him out. We're going to take him out, and we're going to be very, very vicious, and we're going to be very, very ruthless. And, you know, I grew up in a blue-collar Democratic household. I know how they operate. I know how they work. That's who I am as well in terms of, you know, being able to fight down in the gutter, and that's what I'm going to do to knock off Tim Kaine.
Okay, when you say you're going to be vicious and fight in the gutter, elaborate on that, Corey Stewart. What does that mean? Well,
that means, you know, there's going to be on various issues and things like that. A lot of times Republicans hold back, you know, with regard to, for example, his son. Nobody wants to talk about his son. His son is, you know, a part of Antifa. His son is, and he came out and said that he was proud of his son after his son got arrested in Minneapolis for violent activity at a Republican rally. You know, that's, you know, if this guy can attack the president's son, we can go after Tim Kaine's son. Mm-hmm. And I have I'm going to do it. Mm-hmm. And he knows that. I put him on notice that if he's going to go after the president so viciously, we're going to go after him so viciously as well.
Okay, let's get to the 2017 campaign at hand right now. In the Commonwealth, Republicans on a 7-game losing streak. They need to win something. Certainly a win for the Republicans in November, I would think, would give your opportunity to get elected to U.S. Senate a major lift. As you're out there campaigning for U.S. Senate, what can you do to help Ed Gillespie, Jill Vogel, and John Adams win?
Well, you know, I've been very clear about this, that I want him to win. I want the whole ticket to win. I'm encouraging all of my supporters out there to vote for Ed Gillespie and to work for him and that whole ticket. And some of them are, several of them are. You know, some of the people who are on my staff, because I'm not going to be hiring up until after November. But I don't want to get in his way. I want to do everything that he asked me to do to help him out. He hasn't asked for anything particular yet. I don't believe in endorsements anymore from one politician to another. I think they're a double-edged sword. I don't think they work. But you know, I'm going to do everything I can to help him out, and I hope he wins.
All right, so what you're saying is if Ed Gillespie picks up the phone and says, hey, Corey Stewart, I need your assistance with X, Y, or B, if it fits into your ideological framework, you're going to be willing to help him, right?
Absolutely.
Can he win? Can Ed win?
Yeah, I think Ed should win. I think that he should win, but I do think that he's you know, Rolf Northam. I mean, people think that, you know, Rolf is this tough candidate. He's not. He's not. He's a very kind of meek, boring guy. And so to defeat somebody like that, you've got to go after him hard. And Ed's going to have to really ratchet it up, and I think I hope that he will be. But he's going to have to go on the attack, and he's going to have to go on the attack very soon, certainly by the end of this month and into August.
All right, so it sounds like you're going to do everything you can to help Ed Gillespie win, and obviously, if you do that, you actually think he can win, right?
Yes, I think that he can win. This idea that Northam is a strong candidate, I just think is totally felonious. It's not true.
Right.
And
fallacious.
I think that Ed, though, again, you know, he's going to have to go on the attack. Ed's a very nice guy. He really is. He's a nice gentleman.
Really is.
But to defeat a Democrat, you've got to get a lot more ferocious than that.
All right, so sounds like you're going to be there to help him. Okay, let's get to some of the issues that have come up with you recently. Let's get to the Adams Center in Prince William County where this got approved. I don't want to get into the weeds, but the zoning ordinance, and you've been accused by some of your two of your Republican colleagues on the supervisors that you broke the rules and kind of strong-armed it through. How do you respond to that criticism?
Well, first of all, they voted for the Adams Center as well. It was an 8-0 vote, and here's why. The county attorney advised us that because the board had approved 2 churches in the rural area with sewer in the past, and in fact, in the last one we approved, we said that we think that religious institutions should go in the rural area, and that if they are in the rural area, they should be supplied with sewer. So once we did that, we could not then turn around and treat the applications for the Adams Center any differently than we had treated the churches. So we were left really with no choice. The only contentious item was the sewer connection. There was, like I said, all the 8 supervisors voted for the Adams Center itself. The only thing was with regard to the sewer connection.
Okay, but the criticism was that you, in order to get that done, that you strong-armed and manipulated the parliamentary rules. And look, I do understand, Corey, that when people lose, they had a position, you had a different position, your position went out, they thought they were going to win, they lost. There's always sour grapes there. And look, you are the chairman and you do have the gavel. And so I get that. But their criticism is that you strong-armed this sore thing through and manipulated the rules. I just want you to respond to that so I can move on.
Well, it's just not true. I mean, it was 3:30 in the morning. We had a lot of confusion at the end. And, we called for it. There was a vote with regard to the sewer. And then, one of the members voted yes. And then the clerk inadvertently cleared the board before it could be recorded. So there was an anomaly with regard to the recording of the vote. And then when I asked to have it redone to vote again, that same supervisor then voted in the negative. So I knew there was some confusion there, and I wanted to give him a chance to correct it, which he did.
Okay. Let's move on. Let's get back to what's going on in the U.S. Senate, Corey Stewart, and your Senate race. Right now, if you were in the Senate, the repeal and replace Obamacare bill as it stands now that Mitch McConnell is going to bring forward when ostensibly Senator McCain comes back, if you were in the Senate right now, would you be in favor of it or opposed as it stands now?
I would oppose it as it stands right now. It's not good enough. We've got to completely repeal Obamacare in its entirety. And at a bare minimum, I agree with Senator Cruz and Senator Rand Paul and Senator Mike Lee and Ron Johnson out of Wisconsin, that what we've got to do is at least provide insurance companies the ability to offer insurance that doesn't have all the Obamacare mandates in it. And then finally, we can never, Republicans should never support any legislation that maintains the net investment income tax. If there's a way to kill investment, if you want to depress economic growth, you tax investment, and that's what the NIIT does. And that's why we've got to completely eliminate that before I support any legislation.
All right, so if you were in the Senate right now, you would vote on this bill, you would vote no. What if you're there and you get a phone call? Everything is the same. You're there in the Senate, and you get a phone call from President Trump, and he says, look, Senator Stewart, I need you on this. I just need you to vote with me on it. Would that change your view at all?
Well, you're putting him in a tough position here. That's
I know,
okay.
aren't I?
Look, I'm not trying to be President Trump's duplicate. I'm not. I respect him mightily. I really do, and I think he's doing a great job, and I'm going to be a big supporter of his agenda. But what I want him to do, and what I know he wants to do, is he wants the Senate to move to the right, to implement his conservative agenda. And that's what I'm going to be doing, is supporting him to get that done. And at the final hours, you don't know what's going to happen when you're trying to hammer out a bill. But I'm going to be part of that conservative coalition out there with Cruz and Rand Paul and Johnson and Mike Lee and the president. And I know there's some people out there on the Hill that don't support him, especially in the Senate side.
Right.
But I'm going to be moving in that direction.
There is on Trump's tax plan. Are you in favor of that from what you have seen so far?
Absolutely.
Okay. Final question is, if you're in the U.S. Senate, would you be in favor of the Internet's net neutrality or not?
Yes.
Because that's going to come up.
Well, look, I think that, look, at the end of the day, we're going to be, as time goes on, we're going to be flushing out all of our positions on all of the issues. And at this point, though, in my campaign, it's all going to be about fundraising. From now into November, it's all about fundraising. But as time goes along, you're going to see more and more specific policy initiatives coming out, my policy positions coming out. We're going to be publishing those, and we're going to be running on them as I did in the governor's race. But, you're not going to find every position on everything is not going to be developed at this point. That's
very fair and reasonable. Corey Stewart, thanks for being with us. I really appreciate the time. We're going to have you back early and often, and I appreciate the dialogue. Thank you so much.
Great. Thanks a lot, John.